Imagine that every moment in Earth's history could fit into just one single day. Every volcano, every ocean, every dinosaur, every forest, every civilization, and every human who has ever lived would exist within only 24 hours. If the Earth was born at exactly midnight, then the first oceans, the first continents, and the first tiny forms of life would appear long before dawn. Entire worlds would rise only to disappear again. Mountains would be lifted into the sky before being worn down into dust. Oceans would open and vanish beneath drifting continents. The greatest creatures ever to walk the earth would rule this planet for only a brief moment before disappearing forever. And everything humanity has ever built, every empire, every invention, every city, every war, and every dream, would happen only during the final second before midnight. Tonight, we are about to witness 4.5 billion years of Earth's history unfold before our eyes. From a world of fire to a world filled with life. This is Earth's history in just 24 hours. Around 4.5 billion years ago, our story begins in a violent corner of the young solar system. The newborn sun blazed at its center while billions of rocks, ice, and dust raced through space at incredible speeds. There was no blue planet, no oceans, and no life, only chaos. Piece by piece, gravity pulled these fragments together until a young Earth was born, glowing like a giant ball of molten rock. The surface was an endless ocean of lava, with temperatures hot enough to melt almost any material. Massive volcanoes erupted continuously, filling the sky with poisonous gases, while countless asteroids crashed into the planet day after day. Then, something extraordinary happened. A Mars-sized world known as Theia slammed into the young Earth with unimaginable force. The impact was so powerful that it blasted billions of tons of molten rock into space. Over time, that glowing debris slowly came together under the pull of gravity, forming a companion that has watched over our planet ever since, the Moon. Without that single collision, the Earth we know today might never have existed. It was a moment of unimaginable destruction that became the beginning of everything. As millions of years passed, the constant bombardment of asteroids finally began to slow. The Earth started to cool, but only slightly. Thick clouds covered the entire planet, blocking every ray of sunlight. Then the rain began, not for days, not for years, but for millions of years. Endless storms poured across the molten surface, slowly cooling the planet until the first oceans were born. Hidden beneath those dark waters, something extraordinary happened. Tiny molecules combined in ways that had never happened before. They began to copy themselves, evolve, and survive. No one knows the exact moment life appeared, but somewhere in those ancient oceans, the first living cells were born. They were microscopic, simple, and invisible to the naked eye. Yet every tree, every whale, every dinosaur, every bird, and every human being would one day descend from these tiny pioneers. For nearly 2 billion years, Earth belonged to these microscopic organisms alone. There were no animals, no forests, no fish, and no dinosaurs. Only an endless ocean filled with invisible life, quietly preparing the planet for everything that was still to come. For more than 160 million years, dinosaurs ruled the Earth. Tiny hunters raced through ancient forests while enormous herbivores shook the ground with every step. Giant predators stood at the top of the food chain, and the skies belonged to flying reptiles with wings wider than small airplanes. The oceans were filled with terrifying marine reptiles unlike anything alive today. Life had reached an incredible level of diversity. It seemed as though the age of dinosaurs would last forever. But the universe had other plans. 66 million years ago, a massive asteroid nearly 10 kilometers wide slammed into what is now Mexico. The impact released more energy than billions of nuclear bombs. Shockwaves raced across the planet. Wildfires spread across entire continents. Dust and ash covered the sky, blocking sunlight for months, perhaps even years. Plants began to die. Food chains collapsed. One by one, the greatest creatures that had ever walked the earth disappeared forever. Nearly 75% of all species became extinct. Yet from this unimaginable disaster came a new opportunity. Small mammals that had lived in the shadows for millions of years finally stepped into a world that had suddenly become empty. With the dinosaurs gone, mammals began to evolve rapidly. Some returned to the oceans and became whales. Others learned to fly and became bats. Many grew larger, stronger, and more intelligent with each passing million years. Continents continued drifting toward their modern positions while mountains rose and ice ages reshaped the landscape. Among countless species, one small group of primates began walking upright across the African savanna. Their hands became skilled enough to shape tools. Their minds became curious enough to ask questions. Fire transformed their lives, allowing them to survive harsh environments and explore new lands. Generation after generation, they spread across every continent except Antarctica. They painted on cave walls, buried their dead, created language, and slowly built the foundations of civilization. Compared to Earth's vast history, modern humans arrived only moments before midnight on our imaginary clock. Agriculture appeared only seconds before midnight. Villages became cities. Cities became kingdoms. The pyramids of Egypt rose from the desert. Empires expanded across Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Americas. Great libraries preserved knowledge while explorers crossed unknown oceans. Scientific discoveries transformed the world. Steam engines powered the Industrial Revolution. Electricity illuminated entire cities. Airplanes conquered the skies. Humans walked on the moon and built machines capable of exploring distant planets. The internet connected billions of people in an instant. Every invention, every empire, every war, every triumph, every failure, every human story unfolded within the final fraction of Earth's 24-hour timeline. If our planet's history truly lasted only one day, everything we call human history would occupy less than a single second before midnight. The Earth existed for billions of years before us, and it will likely continue long after we are gone. Our story is extraordinary, but it is only the final page of a book billions of years in the making. And perhaps the greatest mystery is not how long Earth has existed, but what the next second of its story will bring.